Hello everyone and welcome to Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. I'm doing my Andy Pandy impression today. I've just washed my hair, it's quite wet, so that's why it suddenly looks so short and different, I expect. It's my Andy Pandy look. If you don't know who Andy Pandy is, well, you need to look that up. Okay, so today we have a lot going on. We have Quote Corner and we've got new quotes now for the time being. And I change them up every now and then. I've got a new playlist for you to watch that you might enjoy. If you haven't already seen it, we'll be looking at that. We have Friday film clip and we're continuing. I'm going to show you part 3 of one of our complete rebuild episodes. So something that I show on my main channel that perhaps you wouldn't have seen here. What else do we have? We have question of the day and we have a very different story time. It's a dilemma story and I want you to add what you would have done with this choice of dilemma. So there's something for you. Of course, we have quiz as well today as it's Friday and some other interesting things you might enjoy too. So let's start first of all. Shall we start with the new quote corner? So we have a new one currently for Fridays. Don't forget each of my lives, each day has a different quote. And then, as I say, I change them up every now and then. So this is the current quote for Fridays. Yes, no, never a truer word spoken than that. And I also like to say a lot that no matter what you're going through, there's always someone far worse off than you. And don't ever forget, just because someone looks like they're okay or they're getting on with life and laughing and joking, sometimes they call it the comedian syndrome. And if you know, a lot of different comedians actually have been quite suicidal and committed suicide in the past. So just because someone looks like they're laughing and having a great time, it just means they're either not coping at all and it's to cover that up, or they cope better or get on with more positive thinking. So there's always someone worse off than you. And the worst thing you can say to someone like me who has multiple disabilities and internal situations going on and much more besides, a very rare disorder I have, the worst thing someone can say is, oh, you look well today. It's what you call invisible situations. So you can't see, unless you're with me all the time, what is wrong with me. So yeah, be careful when you say things like that. Oh, you look well today, or oh, you look really happy today. These things are not necessarily so. Okay, let's get on. And while we're in a sort of down sort of thought of feeling, let's do today's story time, which is a dilemma. Now, this is actually from a drama series, and it just came up on my YouTube feed. I'd never seen it before. So if you're American, you may well know this channel or the program, and it's called, let me look, MDTV. I'm not sure if that's the channel or what, I don't know. It might be an American channel, MDTV, and it is from a series called Trauma. If you know of it, do let me know in the comments below if you know of this series. And I saw it's a small clip of one of the episodes. As I say, never seen it before, and I was interested in the dilemma that episode shows. And it's basically a cheerleader falls from a stunt. Her person holding her up didn't grab her in time, and she let her fall, and she broke her neck. And the paramedics come. Now, I think it's like the fire people you get in America come as like first response. I think it was them. They come, and I don't know if she stopped breathing or she might stop breathing, wasn't clear. And one of the fire crew says, I've got to turn her head to get a breathing tube down her. And her partner was like, you can't move her head in, obviously, a neck or head trauma. So her partner's not sure. So she calls like control center, if you like, and he says, well, yes, I agree with you. If she's stopping breathing, then you need to do that, but without being right there at this point, I can't say 100% I'm okay in it. Obviously not taking the buck when she's like trying to pass the buck to her superiors, which they should advise her do it or don't do it. But he said, well, I'm not there, so I can't advise you. So she says to her worker, right, I'm doing whatever this procedure is to turn her head to get the tube down. He's not happy about it. Of course, the parent overhears something going on, and she turns her head, gets the breathing tube down. They do all the neck brace and put her on the board and everything and take her to hospital. And the partner's not happy. And she said, well, if she wasn't going to be breathing, she would have died anyway. So they get her to hospital, and the long and the short of it is when they x-ray her, they found out she has an internal decapitation of her head, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically your skull has come away from your spine. So like decapitation, but an outer decapitation, the head actually is somewhere else it's come away from the body, but an internal decapitation is that the skull is off the spine, but still on your body. And they said, luckily, the nerve was still attached. So she hasn't got brain damage, but she will definitely never walk again. They can put the head back on. So they are saying in the episode, and that's all in the clip, basically, was she wrong to do it? Had she caused that decapitation, or had it already happened? Of course, the mother wants to know what's what with that. So that is the Storytime dilemma. What would you do? And as this paramedic, first response fire person, whatever she was, as she said, well, if I hadn't have done it, she would have died anyway because she couldn't breathe. So what would you say to that? Well, we've got Bone-Tied Travellers in the house. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. And let's say a good hello to you, a special hello to Bone-Tied Travellers. Okay, let's move on from that and let's do a little piece I want to show you in case you haven't found this on my playlist on this channel, and also how you can find more on my other channel. So take a look at this. So yes, do go and check out the playlist. I have several funny sign videos and there's also jokes. I think the playlist is called something about fun and jokes or something like that. I can't remember. I should look it up really. But do have a look at that. And then, as I say, on my main channel, New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus, look on my community post page, and there you will see more funny signs. And if you want to know how you can make those, like I've done, the little animation bits and pieces like that, then do go on my main channel, because I've just put a video up that shows you how I make them. So running on the ticker tape below here is my main channel, and I use Canva, but I don't pay for Canva. So it's a way that you can use it and make as much as you like. You can import bits, as I've imported the signs, and you can make your full videos. You can do AI on there if you're into that, and so many other things. And let me just let you know, if you haven't seen on my main channel, I have done a video of the new rules of YouTube about if you use AI or if you enhance something in any shape or form. There are new rules on YouTube, and again, I've posted a video on that recently on my channel, which you can see below here. So do take a look at that. And if you ever are listening to this, I know a lot of my viewers always say to me, I'll thumbs up it later on, or I was listening, but I can't comment because I'm listening while I'm doing gardening or while I'm driving, that kind of thing. If you ever want something like, what was that you said in there? Just drop me a comment. I'll give you the URLs to any channels I mention or to any videos I mention. So if you want any connections, if you want my email, anything like that, or my address, then just drop me a comment and I will be happy to oblige. Okay, let's go on to this. Okay, today's quiz. Each week I do a completely different subject on the quiz. So one time you will find your key subject, I'm sure. Today I thought we would do weather. I don't know what it is. Some people love to talk about the weather. It's not something we do in Cyprus at all. We don't bother with weather forecasts. There are weather forecasts, of course. No one bothers with them. We look at nature to see what the weather will be, and we say it's either hot, it's very hot, or it's cold, or that kind of thing. We don't go on about what's the temperature. People love to say what the temperature is. Not a thing here. So if you ever ask me what's the temperature there today, I will say it's hot, or it's very hot, or that's all I can tell you. Okay, so let's start. Let's do the quiz on weather. If you're watching this back later, then of course tell me how many you got right. So the first question, where does the majority of the water vapour in the clouds originally come from? Now I'm going to read you all the questions first, and then I will go through the answers. So where does the majority of the water vapour in clouds originally come from? Question 2. Does a weather vane measure wind speed or wind direction? Does a weather vane measure wind speed or wind direction? Question 3. Which is usually associated with fine weather? High pressure or low pressure? Which is usually associated with fine weather? High pressure or low pressure? And the next one. What letter R is sometimes formed as sunlight passes through raindrops? What letter R is something formed as sunlight passes through raindrops? And the next one. Do rainbows appear when it rains or when there is no rain? Do rainbows appear when there is rain or when there is no rain? Do raindrops become bigger or smaller as they fall through a cloud? Do raindrops become bigger or smaller as they fall through a cloud? And the next one. What letter H is a word for frozen raindrops? What letter H is a word for frozen raindrops? And the next one. Do clouds become cooler or hotter as they rise? Do clouds become cooler or hotter as they rise? Two more questions. First one. Now these are letters, so let me type it in for you. Let me type these in. So here we have some letters: reach, ruin. So those letters, they can be rearranged to give the name of what powerful storm? So the letters I've just typed in, which spell reach, ruin, you can change those letters around and they give the name of what powerful storm? And the last question, again, it's some letters. So I'll type them in for you. They're in the chat now. So the letters that spell ring, tone, you can rearrange those letters and that gives you the name of what very common gas? So the letters that spell ring, tone can be rearranged to give the name of what very common gas. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. If you're watching this back later and you want time to think, pause now. And we're back. So question one was, where does the majority of the water vapour in the clouds originally come from? And the answer is, did you get it? The sea. Comes from the sea. The next question was, does a weather vane measure wind speed or wind direction? And the answer is, of course, wind direction. The next question was, which is usually associated with fine weather? High pressure or low pressure? Of course, it's high pressure. The next one, I think this was an easy one, was it not? What letter R is sometimes formed as sunlight passes through raindrops? And of course, it's a rainbow. Yes, did you know that? That's the sunlight passing through the raindrops. So that answers the next question, of course, which I'm sure you knew anyway. Do rainbows appear when it rains or when there is no rain? So, of course, when it rains, because that's how they are created. And you get the light by the sun. So that's often why you get it when it's raining and sunny intermittently. The next question was, do raindrops become bigger or smaller as they fall through a cloud? Now, I wondered, did you get this one? The answer is bigger. How many of you thought they decreased? But of course, they're getting more of that moisture from the cloud. So they get bigger. Let me know in the comments if you got that one right. What letter H is a word for frozen raindrops? That's hail. That's what hail is, frozen raindrops. Do clouds become cooler or hotter as they rise? Well, I'm sure you could work that out even if you didn't know. Of course, they become cooler because the higher up you go, the cooler the air becomes. Then I gave you letters that spell reach, ruin. And I asked you, if you rearrange them, what does it give you? The name of a powerful storm. And of course, it's hurricane. And the last question, again, I gave you some letters that spelt out ring tone. And I asked you to rearrange them so you got the name of a very common gas. Did you get it? Nitrogen. Nitrogen. So that was the answer there. How did you do? Let me know in the comments below how you did today. Okay, let's move on and do this. So the question today is, what random object do you carry around in your wallet, pocket, or handbag? Or maybe even in your car glove compartment. That's quite a fun one. So what random object? Now, I actually did this on a live. I got my handbag out and went through that. So you'll have to look back at that one to see what random object I carry around. I wonder how many of you these days can answer it so differently from a few years back. How many of you still carry a mask in your bag? That's something that if people from the past suddenly saw in the future your bags, would they wonder what these were about? Of course, unless you live somewhere like Japan or China, of course, that would be very different. So what random object do you have either in your bag, your wallet, your pocket, or your car glove compartment? I'd like you to all go through those now and then let me know in the comments what random object you found. Okay, let's go on to this. Now, you may or may not know, if you watch my intro to my lives, I do show you a little taste of it, that we live off-grid, a very frugal life, and I live in an abandoned village. So there's lots of ruins where I live and no people. No people. We have farms, but the people don't live on the farms. And there are a few old properties that people use for holidays, like you would have, say, a caravan or a trailer or a holiday home. People use them for that. They don't rent them out or anything, but they come up like Easter and celebration times and for parties, that kind of things, because we live in the mountains. So there are more goats here than people, and we do a lot of rebuild, total rebuild of some of the derelict outbuildings we have and much more, but we pay very little for them. Everything we do is salvaged or finds. You'll see a lot of the things we do, we build out of big stone, and that is actually all free because the big stone is where they cut through this area to make tracks. So it's mounted, it's like cutting through a mountain. So all that rubble of great big stones, you can build houses with it, like great big stone. And you'll see we've landscaped our garden with a lot of that. That is all free from this area. You'll also see on my main channel, New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. You'll see all our renovation projects there and what we're doing for little or no cost. We also found quite some time ago some marble slabs, and there's some other slabs as well, like patio type stone slabs. hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and they were all, we think there's a British base, and they were renovating all the properties because they all had asbestos on the British base, and they were renovating all the kitchens and bathrooms and everything there. And all these seem to be offcuts from the bathrooms and the kitchens. So if you look at my other channel, you will see so many projects where we're using these, I call them slabs, as I say, marble and other things as well. We didn't go there to collect them, they just dumped them. They just dumped them up our mountain. Obviously, they were supposed to get rid of them, couldn't bothered, drove up our mountain, dumped them. So it took us many, many, many car trips, and you can't carry too much in your car at a time because they're so heavy. Many trips, and they'd tip them over the edge of the mountain, so we're scrambling up and down the mountain to try and get them. We are doing a surround around our swimming pool. We've done three patio areas using them. We've done pathways using them. I am going to do a kind of a roundup video soon on my main channel of all the places we've used them, because I'm sure people will get mixed up saying, I thought you were doing somewhere else with that and somewhere else for that. And massive areas we've done. So go and take a look at my main channel, New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. But for now, I will show you part 3. Part 1 and part 2, we did the last 2 lives on this channel. But if you missed them, under this live is links to those and other information about it. This is part 3 of a total rebuild of a derelict outbuilding on our land. So enjoy part 3. Let me just pull it up for you, and I will see you on the other side. It's very short, so I will be back in a minute. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, part 1 and part 2 are in the links under this video. And if you're interested in watching more on my main channel and coming over to the lives there, here's the days and times and what you can see on that channel. So I'm going off now because I'm going over to another one of my channels where I'm doing a live following the story of my life, of my professional dance career. So here's a little promo of that. So check out that if you're interested in my life, my life story and my career and from beginning to end. So I'm doing slow episodes on that. I've already done 2 lives. They're all in the live stream, talking, following my journey. So I'm going over there now and get another one done over there. I'm really enjoying doing those so much. They're so much fun. And I thank you so much for watching, whether you watch all my channels or just one. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.